What's going on, guys? This is Heath.
And Tracy.
And welcome to Heath and Tracy TV.
Heath and Tracy TV.
Today, we are here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where Tracy and I met about 30 years ago. We're celebrating Father's Day today.
Happy Father's Day.
With,
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Thank you very much.
With our firstborn, hold on a second. With our firstborn.
Hello. It's me, Jasmine.
The reason that I've been a father for 27 years is because of this one.
Hi,
So, Tracy and I have had some moderate success with our pros and cons of North Carolina video. And one of our subscribers actually asked us if we would make a pros and cons video about Washington, D.C. And we thought to ourselves, well, we met in Washington, D.C. We lived in Washington, D.C. 8 years. We have lots of friends here. We're graduates of Howard University. And Jasmine lives here now and is a veteran of Washington, D.C. in her own right. And so we thought, hey, we're in D.C. this weekend, let's do our video. So we're going to interview someone who's on the ground, who's live, real-time, Washingtonian, Princess Jasmine.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this is pros and cons of Washington, D.C. We may touch on the DMV, Maryland, Virginia too, but I think we want to focus on Washington, D.C. for today.
Okay, got it.
So, pro number one.
Number one.
Economic stability.
Economic stability.
There are a lot of jobs available here.
Jobs.
There are also a lot of jobs available in the DMV, as my mother mentioned earlier. So if you want to live in Virginia and work in DC, or work in Maryland and live in Virginia, etc., you have easy access to all of those places. And you can easily work in any of the three areas, but specifically I think the hub for the economic stability is DC due to the government, and then because the government is here, there are also a lot of businesses that are attracted to the area that have major hubs here. There are a lot of small businesses here. It's a good place to start a small business, I would say. And there are so many different types of people living in this city. So there are different demographics and different, I guess you could say...
Diversity?
There's
lots of diversity.
There's diversity that makes, that opens up the door for different kinds of businesses and not just one kind of business. Although government contracting is probably one of the biggest.
Number two.
What's number two, Jess?
I would say transportation.
Oh, yeah.
So if you live in the suburbs, it's a little more difficult to maybe get to the city somewhere else. Here, because the metro system goes so far out into Virginia and into Maryland.
So metro is the train, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the train system that we have here, similar to maybe the subway in New York, or like the
transportation
BART
system,
in California.
The L.
Yeah, transportation system.
The transportation
buses
system.
as well.
We have a lot of, we have buses, we have train, we have Lyft, we have Uber, and even if you live farther out, like say in Baltimore or Eastern Shore, there still are ways, and there are railways in which you can get here via like Amtrak and some of the boutique trains on Amtrak.
True.
So I work with a lot of people who come all the way from Eastern Shore, Maryland, all the way to downtown DC every day, but it just opens up and kind of reinforces the economic stability point. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is it's very...
Transportation friendly.
Transportation is accessible here, regardless of where you live. It may be difficult, but it's accessible.
Number three.
Number three, the plethora of dining and shopping opportunities that we have in Washington, D.C.
That's true.
One example of that is right here where we are right now.
Where are we?
We're in
City Center.
City Center.
Yes, very nice. Show it to them, guys.
Wow, look at that. City Center, so we're just out here relaxing, dining al fresco out here with bistro tables and just having something cool to drink. or some snacks and shops. There's even a market right here in the store that we just came out of. So you literally have like a live-work scenario right here, where you're living literally in the middle of Washington, D.C., walk down from your townhome, your apartment, your condominium, and you can grab dinner, you can grab something to cook, something to prepare, and it's just phenomenal access, and everybody is just on foot walking around, and so it's a very walkable city. So I think
That's true.
we
That's a pro.
see that in many European cities.
Yep.
People talk about the transportation and the ease of walking around, and why people are in excellent physical condition just in doing their normal activities, their normal motions. People can get on the train, go back and forth to work, back and forth to the home. They can get off and they walk around and do their business. So it's
Yeah.
a big pro.
I would definitely say that even if you don't have the coins to live somewhere like City Center, in most hubs of the city now, there is kind of that like live and work and play kind of environment in every little borough of the city. So you can always find things within your community. There's always markets, and there's always corner stores and places to walk around, and parks and things of that nature.
Right.
So there is no shortage of food or shopping here. That is for sure.
Number 4.
The ability to have community. A lot of people, like I'll have like Lyft drivers who recently moved here, something like that. They'll say, like I can't seem to find, people are only in it for themselves here. And while DC is a very ambitious city, and there are a lot of people here to get business done, it is pretty easy if you want to make human connections. There are so many organizations and churches and areas that I think it's easy to serve here, as far as community services concerned.
That's pretty cool.
I think that there are a lot of like little groups of people here, and you can,
Right.
if you're really looking for it, you can find that group that you kind of want to fit into and create community with. Also, with the influx of millennials to the city, a lot of times I talk to them, and they're very insistent on creating community in the city and engaging with those who you live around.
Nice.
So a lot of people would say the city is gentrifying, which is true, but a lot of the people moving here seem very committed to engaging with their neighbors and interacting with those that they live and work with.
Washington, D.C. is home to one of the best institutions, post-secondary institutions on planet Earth. HU! Howard University, the Mecca.
And many other lovely institutions and universities.
That's another great point. Okay, so let's call this one number 5.
There are several universities and colleges in the area. So I would think even in like a long-term situation, say you're just moving here and you like don't have any kids, or you want to move somewhere in Maryland or Virginia, there's so many schools between Maryland, Virginia, and DC that are really good schools. So you have the University of Maryland, and Maryland is probably the closest to the city. In the city, you have American, Georgetown, George Washington University, the University of the District of Columbia, Howard University, and Catholic University, and Trinity University.
You got George Mason.
George Mason is in Virginia.
Yeah, the 2-hour drive.
Bowie.
Bowie State. Bowie State University.
So you have quite a few colleges in a 2-hour radius from the city that are easily accessible. And so a lot of the alum live in the city of all of these schools, that's for sure.
I like the free services. Keith and I went to the National Gallery of Art yesterday.
It was great.
It was fantastic. And if you think about it, all of the monuments, a lot of the what we call the nation's front porch is free. You just have to know the rules and regulations and make sure you have the tickets to gain access to them. We went to the National Gallery of Art yesterday just on a whim and had a wonderful time. The monuments, the tidal basin, all of that is accessible here. The waterfront, you've got right here, they're building a community on the waterfront. Parks are just amazing. They're clean, they're open, they're safe. There's not like, the city has gentrified quite a bit, so there's not many pits or places you go where you're not going to feel safe. And so I think that's a huge plus.
Yep. Great point, Tracy.
That was a good point.
Number 7, I would say
Are we
is
still on pros?
we're still on pros.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, DC is a great place.
It is.
I was just gonna say that the national and international vibe of the city, right? It's so multicultural. It's such a true melting pot. As you look at the people that live here, as well as the international visitors, because Washington is such an international destination. There's so many different types of people that you bump into, that you see, that you engage with.
From all over the world.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that. So maybe we go into cons.
Gotcha.